People, deluded, I'm back again. I hope you're all doing well and safe. I hope you're all doing well and safe. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, depending on whoever you are, wherever you are in this world, and obviously according to the time zone. Like I said, I hope you're all doing well and safe. I hope you're in good spirits. I hope you're all in good health. And yeah, I'd like to extend that to your loved ones and family and things like that. But Thursdays, Arsenal versus Crystal Palace at the Emirates, and it's a game where I'm quite nervous, people, and I'll obviously explain my thoughts. But obviously, it's a weird one because at the same time, I'm nervous, but at the same time, I'm welcoming it. Like I'm happy, when we was losing games and not even just losing games, just the way we was playing collectively, individually, not really seeing any tactics, just everyone connected with the club. We weren't really seeing a direction of what we're on. I was nervous game in, game out. Now, I don't want to sound too reactionary because for me, it's only 3 games, 4 if you include the FA Cup and things like that, but it's only 3 games. And I feel, when you're in bad moments, you have to keep balance. Obviously, call a spade, and what's going negative, speak about it. If the house is burning, don't tell everybody it's okay. Equally in good times, whether you like players or the manager or whatnot, the same energy you was using to critique them, for me, you have to give people their credit where it's due. And collectively as a club right now, it's happy days. And that's why, I didn't want football matches to, I was dreading the match day calendar and the fixtures and things. I didn't want us to, time waits for no one. If we was playing on a Saturday, I was thinking about it on a Monday, and I never wanted the week to end. Now I want to watch Arsenal every day. I'm able to watch match of the day again. We're playing well. 3 games on the spin now, 4 including the FA Cup. We're building a sort of run where, that's what I want to see. The more wins, the more confidence, the more self-belief. Sometimes you have to ride your luck as well. You see how in negative periods, nothing was going right for us, because we're not doing things right and it's just going wrong. When you're in a positive way, things happen for you as well in the same way, Arteta spoke about luck. We've applied ourselves in every 4 of these games, and we have had some fortunate circumstances that we've taken advantage of, in the build up to some of these goals. That's what happens when you work hard. Now, for me, in a way, I like that there's confidence, but there's a fine line between confidence and complacency. So I want us to almost behave like we're still fighting relegation or all of these talks. It's fantastic we've clawed our way back, and at this moment in time, I know people are playing today, Tuesday, and there'll be some other games, and because of the fixture list, it will all fluctuate, but we're 6 points off the top. Obviously, you have to consider goal difference and things. Well, 6 points off top 4. My point being, you're still in with a chance of top 4. Do I believe Arsenal are going to get it? No, but you have to. My challenge to these boys are, if that is your goal, see it through to the end. Put up a real fight. Put it up to the point where we're in May, like, okay, we missed out on. If we get it, great. Like I said, I want to be wrong. But if we don't get, all right, cool. We messed up, but I see a little turnaround, and that's my challenge to these boys, because the last 4 games, 3 games now, it's almost irrelevant. Like I said, that's 3 games. 3 games, 3 wins versus how many losses? 3 wins on the trot is great for us, and I'm not belittling it. I've seen us keep a clean sheet, score some goals, back-to-back away victories. Players are playing well, but a run of 3 games is not going to make the difference. A run of 3 games doesn't necessarily show that you've turned it around. Congratulations for the Chelsea result. That's a big game. West Brom, Sam Allardyce was on it against us. We did what we needed to do. Brighton, a bogey team, we did what we've needed to do, but we cannot rest on our laurels. And I can't lie, I've said it before, I don't want us to ever lose this season, but I'm sure many, even the most diehard of Arsenal fans, will concede that it is likely we will drop more points. I want to see how we react, because when it's negative, only a couple players are on this. When it's positive, everybody's on it. When we lose again, I still want us to keep this mentality and things like that and go again. We're too volatile. We're too excited when we're winning. We're too doom and gloom when we're losing, and the players have to get there in a mental space. Arteta has said, the challenge is, can we be consistent? Can we put this run of games together? The last run of tough fixtures we had, we failed. We're now coming into another set of tough fixtures for me, from anything from January, February, all the way to March, in fact, to the end of the season. Because forgive me if I'm wrong now, we've got to now play Crystal Palace. You've then got Newcastle. I'm sure we've got Southampton. We've drawn Southampton in the FA Cup now, so I think we've got them twice in quick succession across the 2 competitions. And in no order, we've got Wolves away, Villa away, Leicester away, United at home, the Europa League against Benfica sandwiched in between the City game. There's a tough run of fixtures to come. So, I'm not going to lie, against Crystal Palace, there is an element of insurance. And for me, I want them to see the run of fixtures we have and meet it head on. I want them, not that I'm saying you can disrespect Crystal Palace. Think about who's ahead of you right now. But the run of games we have, I want them to truly understand the implementations before the game of what happens if you win, lose, or draw these games. This is the beauty and the gift of the Premier League in that, too many conclusions have been drawn. We're getting relegated. Spurs and Chelsea are winning the league. Liverpool, all doom and gloom now. It's great. There's a lot of fluctuation between those from first to 10th, really and truly. City, doom and gloom, they seem to be back in it. So can we take advantage of this? For me, I don't believe in top four, our ability to get top form, because I think the only people that will let us down is ourselves. Do I think this Arsenal squad is the best in the world? And, I wouldn't bring in certain players. Of course not. But do I think us missing out on top four year in, year out is down to our bad players? Yes. But do I think it's a thing where, okay, cool, Arsenal are here and the others are just miles ahead of us? Yeah, if I break down some of their squads, I'd say, yeah, they can get in here. I'd rather have them. But I think it's more of a case of us. We're our own worst enemy. We are the reason we're now fighting back, because we've dropped numerous stupid points in the league already, and now it's just down to us to claw that back. It's time for every member of that side to be counted. It's a 25-man squad. I want everyone to feel good, but at the same time, I want us to have that same hunger against Chelsea. Almost in a way, the last 3-4 games, including the FA Cup, is irrelevant. We're still needing to prove people wrong. I like the confidence, but I don't want it to go to complacency. Definitely not against Crystal Palace. I can't speak for everyone, but whenever I see the fixture calendar, I'm scared of 90% of the teams in the league. I'm an Arsenal fan, but I'd say Southampton, Brighton, Palace. These are games that I'm quite scared of when I look for in the fixture calendar, and I'm definitely shook off Palace. I like Palace from a neutral point of view. How can you not? I've been to Palace away. I think that's one of the best away games I've been. I think the atmosphere at Selhurst Park is amazing. They've got some good play. Roy Hodgson's been in the game for a while, experienced individual. They've got Zaha. They've got people that can harm us. They've got Zaha. I'm not too sure if Eze is going to play, because I think he will, but I see him in the QPR's director's box. And I remember Roy Hodgson a couple of weeks ago, he said Crystal Palace will take a tough stance on people found to be, not listening to whatever they're saying in relation to COVID. I don't know if that means that, you're not playing the next game and a fine, or just a fine. Personally, I think it should just be a fine, but who knows, man? I can't tell Crystal Palace. But like I said, they got Zaha, they've got Eze. Slop might be injured, but he can present issues like he does against United. Townsend could put decent balls into the box. They've got a workman-like midfield. They have a size advantage of us, especially with their defenders, which could be an issue at set pieces. The last couple of times we've played them, it's not been right. We didn't beat them last year. We scored a good goal under Mikel Arteta, but we didn't beat them. I'm sure April 2019 they beat us they beat us as well at their place. I've definitely remember the worst one for me of recent was, remember under Unai Emery, our last 8 games, and Palace beat us then. We drew 2 games last year. I could be wrong. Either way, they're on a bogey. They're a bit of a bogey team, and I'm sure, without looking at any statistics, which I'm going to get into in a minute, I'm sure we the last 4 or 5 times we've played them, we've actually quite struggled. So my challenge is this: can you go and play a Palace team and get the result, especially at home against a team that's going to be up for it? Palace themselves, been dumped out of the FA Cup, haven't been of recent, haven't won too many games in the Premier League, and I'm sure they're going to be up for this. Zaha spoke about not getting his move to Arsenal. I'm sure he wants to remind Arsenal, not like we need reminding, because every game you do it, why they should have bought him, And I'm sure, again, we look at a couple of their results, they can present issues. They battered Leeds. They got a good point against Spurs off the top of my head. Yeah, we can look at the 7-1 against Liverpool. And of course, the Palace are a volatile team, but on their day, they can present problems. And for me, if you give them a sniff of encouragement, they will take advantage. We know what to expect with Roy Hodgson, but on the same token, I'd like to think Palace know what to expect from us. And for what I want to see is set the tone from early, start early, and try and kill them early, like against West Brom. Because again, you give Crystal Palace a glimmer of hope, they will take advantage of that. People, apologies as I just quickly flip over to my notes. People, again, me, I love a Google document sheet, and I think it makes this slightly more interactive with you guys. So yeah, these are just my notes. Like I said, we need to keep winning. Simple as that, people. It's as simple as that. We've won 3 games. That doesn't really mean anything. I'm not belittling it, but 3 games, that's not 10 games on the spin like you're seeing with some people that have got top 4, won the leagues and all of these sort of things. So while I like it, I think, in the same way we was very negative, I think we're not that we're exactly ridiculously positive. I think we need balance, and we need to conclude collectively for the fans, for the manager, the club, that we ain't achieved nothing. 3 fantastic wins. If we look at it without emotion, the Chelsea result is great. Not that I'm belittling any Premier League team in the division, but we played Brighton and West Brom at the right time. West Brom can't buy a win. They're woeful, big chance, Sam Allardyce might not even be able to keep them up. Brighton have been poor as well. So we hit them at right times. We can't deal with other teams' form. It's nothing to do with us. And it's still fantastic results. Like I said, clean sheets, back-to-back away games. I'm not belittling it, but, that's how, when we look at it without emotion, many people would say a team that wants to get top 4 or better their season, their 2 games they should be winning. Not that I'm trying to just say the Chelsea one's fantastic and the others aren't, but, I give us credit with Chelsea. I didn't buy us a win. Not that I'm not giving us credit with the other games. Like I said, everything can be affected by goal difference and other results, but we're 6 points away from top 4, people. You get 6 points and you're back into it, people. You're back into top 4 shouts. Like you can see here, I don't know why it's gone into 2 bullet points. And I just saw people 2 wins in their last 8, people. Off the top of my head, just by looking at their results. 1 came in the FA Cup, they were knocked out by Wolves, so I'm sure they're hurting. And you've got to be careful when there's a wounded animal and you back it up against a corner. It's either going to bite you or be resigned to defeat. And I think the Eagles will want to play us. They're always up for playing us. It's a London game. There's that fearless aspect. And I wouldn't say people expect them to lose, but definitely if they win, it's a lot of headlines. If they lose, it is what it is, people. And already, they're a bit of a bogey team. The last couple of times we've played them, they spoil our fun. Zaha has been a pantomime villain in that regard. The one that sticks out for me is when they beat us under Una Emre when we had about 10 games left of that season. I think the season we got into Europa League and we didn't qualify for the champs, obviously through the league. We've had a couple of stupid draws, but I remember a couple of years ago, Zaha spoiled the party yet again at the Emirates. Yeah, people. And obviously last season away weren't much benefit. So we haven't really got points in the last 4 games against them. And I'm sure the last time they've actually won this more recently. People, they're not in the best of form if you just look at their last few games, as I said. But again, form to a degree goes out the window. I just want to consider what we have going with us, people. 3 wins, 3 draws and an L in the last 4 against them, I believe that says. And we said we know about their players, people. We know about their players. They've got players that are, you've got piano players and piano pushers. Zaha, Eze, these are all piano players, and they've got their piano pushers like the Townsends, like the Slops, like the MacArthurs, like the the whole back 4. Can we exploit Guita as well? Because he makes good saves, but he can be a bit suspect. I like the fact that we're actually shooting now. Can we, if you don't shoot, you don't score. Can we actually shoot? And we know their style of play can harm us, people. I do think they try to get the ball on the ground and play football, but they can destroy you with counter-attacks as well, people. As you can see, they've got technically good footballers as well. A lot of their wingers want to take people on and they want the ball. They can do things. We've also, for me, set pieces and crosses to that back sticker areas I'm wary of. And obviously, when you're playing the Ezes, the Zahas, etc., you've got to win your 1v1 battles. Fullbacks and wingers, they've got to help each other out. You can't let midfield runners go. At set pieces, even though it's zonally and they've got a height advantage on us, we're going to need to be switched on, and especially the left back like Tierney, for example. If Marie does start, we know he lacks pace. I'm not belittling him, but what I mean is, you can't leave him exposed on the counter because we play a high line. There is gaps. You can make out what happens. So let's be a bit sensible. And like I said, I've seen them beat Leeds this season. I've seen them draw against Spurs. They played well and probably could have nicked it. I'm sure they've beaten United this season. I could be wrong. And they've drawn with Leicester. Spurs and Leicester are 2 teams which beat us, so we have to take them seriously, and they can actually draw parity with us if they win this game. It's 11th versus 14th, and it shows you how great the league is and how competitive, but equally it shows you, I'd say, the level of defending, the lack of consistency, and this has been the case over a number of years in the Premier League as to why it's not too much in it, people, but we need to be sensible. Their last league win came versus Sheffield United where they won 2-0, which was their last game. So again, there is some bits of confidence to take into that, people. And my ending thoughts are, we have to keep winning. We've got a tough round of fixtures, as said. It's the It's the first of 2 weekday. I don't know why that says that there, but 2 weekday fixtures for us. As you lot know, play on the Thursday. On the Monday, we've got Newcastle, who lost in the league, lost in the cup against us. I'm sure they're gonna have a bit more bite and determination against us when we play them again, people. So make of that what you want. Like I said, can we start well like against West Brom? Let's try to move to them early. You don't shoot, you don't score. You know, that Guita guy makes a lot of saves. But one thing I will say with Crystal Palace, that defense looks a bit shaky. You know, can you go and ask questions? Can you go and get them to turn on each other? Keeper shouting at centre half shouting at midfielders. Can we go and ask questions of them very quickly? I'm not too sure in that regard. I really should type in Crystal Palace team news, because I would love to know the status of injuries. I'm not sure for Mohamedou Sakho, who's, I think he picked up a knock in their last game, but he's actually fingied as well, linked with a move away. Jack Butland made his debut. So again, there isn't too much. I guess there isn't too much to be said in relation to Crystal Palace. I'll go on their website and see if they've got anything. But as you can see, quickly briefing here, people. And again, you know, looking at those fixtures, you know, they play on the Sunday. They've been done a bit dirty. For me personally, if I looked at those two fixtures and I think which one is more winnable, I'm going all out for the Arsenal one versus away to Man City. So we need to be careful. Also, as well, it's just hit me. You know, you've got Tyreek Mitchell, which is he's a good little fullback, but they've got a couple youthful defenders. You know, can you take advantage of situations like that? Like you can see here, people, you know, in their last 3 games in the Premier League, you know, they've got a win, a loss, and a draw, and they've conceded what 4 goals in there across those games as well, people. If we scroll up further, it doesn't make for much better reading, sort of thing. So yeah, let me go on Crystal Palace's website, try and see if there's anything to do with that. No. I don't know why I done that, but it's already blocked off. But let's see. They've got a little preview here, people. As you can see, Crystal Palace will continue their good run against Arsenal as they travel to North London on Thursday to take on the Gunners at the Emirates Stadium. And like I said earlier, Palace are unbeaten in 4 against Mikel Arteta's side. Their last meeting at Selhurst Park, where Jordan Ayew equaliser, cancelled out Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang's opening goal, which was a good one. The Eagles' recent visits to the Emirates have resulted in some of their most memorable Premier League results. As you don't remember, this is the one I'm getting at. Remember, we took the lead in 2019. We scored 2 early goals and after 9 minutes. And then obviously, once again, Ayew and Luka Milojevic, who also could present issues for us, helped in the comeback, people. So, yeah, they're a bit of a bogey team, people. And, yeah, we've come into form of recent. And like you can see here, people, Palace have a good record in London derbies this season. They've won 1 and drawn 2 of their 4 games so far. You know, as I said earlier, they drew against Crystal Palace. Drew against Spurs. So there is issues. And, you know, there's a bunch of players that either have played for other London clubs or are from London. So they all know what this fixture means, people. You know, and as I said, I want to get the first goal, people. You're looking at from a tactical point of view, this is quite a good article. You know, the first goal could be crucial in this game, despite Palace's recent comebacks. Neither side has come back to win this season after conceding the first goal. So, you know, there's a first time for everything. But what does that more or less tell you? You score the first goal and they're done. We have the second lowest cross completion rate in the Premier League, and win the third lowest percentage of aerial duels. So again, that tells you set pieces are crucial. That's an area for Crystal Palace to exploit. That's an area of concern for Arsenal. Also, in relation to cross completion rate, that is fair. And I do feel with the crossing, if there's a way of looking at it, because anything can be described as a cross, really and truly. How many are low driven, how many are high driven, and things like that. Also, if you look on the Premier League's website, we score higher than Crystal Palace for crosses. We're 6th, I believe. I think they're 14th. So again, they're not bottom, but that tells you there's problems. So again, that's another case of how stats manipulate. But again, they've got players that I would describe as more threats from aerial positions than us. I don't think we're a strength from set pieces beyond a couple of players, you know. Using the expected goals metrics, it says Palace have scored 4.9 goals more than expected. Arsenal are underperforming, as we know. Arsenal have conceded at least once in each of their 11 home games, which is crazy. This guy could be a problem for us. Milivojevic has scored 5 in his 6 top flight appearances against Arsenal, people, with 4 of those coming from the penalty spot. We do know they love a penalty against us, so let's avoid that, people. Arsenal have lost their last 2 home league games played on a Thursday. We lost to Man City in 2018, and we obviously lost to Brighton, so that's a bit of things to consider, people. In relation to team news, we already know potentially, we welcome back Gabriel, we welcome back Partey. We'll get onto Arteta's comments. We know Martinelli's having his fitness and scans and things, but he'll probably play no part. Hopefully he can. Jeff Slop, who I think if he is fit, they should throw him at left back. That's how I'd look to hurt Arsenal. And there's fitness doubts over Scott Dan and Gary Cahill, who I'd firmly expect them to be there personally, people. But that's just me. So yeah, people, like I said, it's only been 3 games in the league. Let's act like we haven't won anything, people. Let's keep that same hunger we had against Chelsea to put our run right, because it's not going to be easy against Crystal Palace. It's not going to be a West Brom thing. Looking at statistics as well, people, Arsenal are winless in their last 4 matches against Crystal Palace, losing 1 and drawing 3. It's our longest winless run against the Eagles in the top flight. So again, it's a chance to put some sort of history right, some positive history. Looking at it in all competitions, Crystal Palace have won just 5 in their last 47 against us, people, and they are unbeaten in the last 2. And as I already brought out the Thursday stat, Arsenal have conceded at least once in each of their 11 home Premier League games, as I've said. And, in the 2-0 victory against Sheffield United last time out, Crystal Palace kept their first clean sheet of the season since opening day. So I know a lot is said about our defenders. A lot should be said about that defense. You can ask them questions. Other side notes, Zaha is their top goal scorer with 8 goals, and we already know that's someone you've got to look out for. As I was saying as well, people, they're 14th in the league for crosses. Pardon me, will they use this to their advantage? We're 6th. And again, that's a bit of a weird one, because again, you have to quantify what is a cross, because I'd describe Crystal Palace as more old school driven crosses and whatnot. We know they play a 4-4-2. For me, it's crucial. Can we exploit the wide areas? For me, if I was Crystal Palace, I'm playing Jeffrey Slop. I'm going with Zaha. I'm trying to get easy in. These are strong runners. These are guys on the counter attack, whether they're playing out wide or centrally, or maybe even Townsend as well, that can hurt you. But when I see 4 at the back and I think of how we're playing, how we're starting, let's get their wingers the other way. Let's see how much Zaha wants to defend. Let's see how much Eze, if he's playing in the mid, on the flanks as opposed to centrally, if he is playing. See how good he wants to defend. Prevent Jeffrey Slop from going forward. It's gonna be a day to win your 1v1 battles, and I think wide areas is where it comes from. Obviously, with a 4-4-2, it's 2 man in the middle. They've got their workmen and they'll put in the shift. So again, anyone who's not down for the cause, keep yourself at home, people. It's gonna be a tough game against them. Looking at Mikel Arteta, and again, he knows what it is already, people. We've got 4 wings on the bounce. Things are starting to look good, but our next 2 games are crucial, people, for setting what we want to do this season. As Arteta said himself, I think the next 2 games are crucial to see the direction that we are taking and to reinforce all the things that we have improved on and the results that we are having recently. We all know how much I think after the next 2 games. We want to keep this consistency and having the belief that we can go into every game with the feeling that we are going to win it. The more games we are able to win, the better that feeling is going to be. Obviously, to start thinking more about the table in a different direction. If you are able to win these matches, your mind starts to look your mind starts to look in a much more positive way. Crystal Palace are a dangerous side. They have shown that against big teams, they are a really compact and organized team. And as we can expect, Roy Hodgson, he's old school, 2 banks of 4, win your individual battles, be narrow and compact, be difficult to break down and try and exploit them and make the most of the very few opportunities you get in a game. We know what to expect. So rise to the occasion. Your manager has said it. Make sure you're heeding these words, people. They are a very dangerous team. They've got dangerous individuals, and on their day, they can present problems. This is a tough game for us, people. It's true what they say. There are no easy games in the Premier League. He's also said they have players with a big individual talent that just need moments to win games, exactly, to create actions that can unbalance the team. So we have to be very careful with that. Then we have to play to be dominant again in the game. We go from the first minute to try win the game, to attack them and be cautious as well of the strengths that they have and try to control as much as possible. And that's it, try and attack them, try and ask questions of their nervous defense, but also respect them because they can hurt you. They can hurt you with the players they've got. If we scroll up further, I'm not going to read all of his press conference because he's spoken about Ozil and the rest of it. But in relation to, well, we all know we're looking back for the football games, people. And like he said, there's a lot of games coming up now, some important ones as well. We need to get our home form established. As we know, historically at Arsenal, a lot is made of our away form, but also we've been getting our asses handed to us prior to this little run we've been going on at home. Villa came and smacked us up. Leicester came and nicked 3 points. City came and smacked us up in the cup. It ain't been great, people. There's been many, I'm sure you've all got ones as well. So it's, it's our fortress. You wouldn't allow someone to come into your house and just start, drinking out of the cartons and things like that. So it's time that we start respecting our own house and our house and things like that, and telling people when you come here, take your shoes off at the door and start to establish this. Because if we're real, it's only one home win. When was the last time we won at home, people, apart from the Chelsea game? I'm scratching my head. I can't. When did we? And again, it's down to that. Off the top of the very fact that I can't tell you off the top of my head is upsetting. So let's go and put it right. I'm not going to lie. I was thinking about the Europa League, people. I don't know. I'm sure you lot probably will looking at now. And like he said, we've got 2 at home right now, and they're going to be key for the future of our season in the Premier League, and the team is in great spirits. Obviously, after 4 wins, everything looks better, and we're looking forward to games. We all know, it's down to Smith Rowe to be consistent. We know he's been impressing, so I'm not going to read that out. Big up to Emil Smith Rowe regardless. We've spoken about what we can expect from Crystal Palace. He's spoken about the importance of moving up the table. He said, yes, again, we want to keep that consistency, having the belief that we can go into every game with the feeling that we're going to win it. And like he said, the more games we are able to win, the better that feeling is going to be. And as he said, what I've read this out already, we can start to move in a different direction. Hopefully Martinelli's one is positive, but at least at the time of making this video for you guys, I'm none the wiser on the status of Martinelli and his scanning. This was press conference came out yesterday, which was Monday. I'm doing this on a Tuesday, so hopefully there's some positive news. But for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to concede that Martinelli's not a thing for this game, sort of thing. Hopefully it's more positive on the front of Gabriel. We know he's been missing out because of suspension and the COVID, and it's been good because we've seen Marie, David Luiz as well, but more so Marie in these last few games stand up to be counted, turning a corner. Now there's good problems in defense. Obviously he's lost a lot of match rhythm, and hopefully he plays a part. I don't know if he's playing coy, but he said, well, Gabriel had a training session the other day, tested positive and had very mild symptoms. So he's missed a few weeks of training because he's had to be isolated. It's better now, and we expect him to be training with us in the next couple of days, then make an assessment on whether we can have him or not on Thursday. So maybe Thursday's a bit short for Gabriel. If fit for me, he goes back into the team. But I would be happy with Marie and David Luiz or a Holding, because they've all done well so far to get the chance again. And, all of you, again, the challenge is, can you do it again? You did it against Chelsea. If I'm harsh, Marie gave a penalty and got away with it. Can you do it? Can you have a spot? Can you all have fault? Whoever plays, can you all play faultless against the Zahas, against the Bentekes? Whatever you say about Benteke, he is a physical problem. And if we remember, going back to the game we lost under Unai Emery, I'm sure it was actually Benteke that scored from a set piece. So wake up, defenders. You're going to be in for a day. There's going to be a lot of running. There's going to be a lot of defensive phases we're going to have to be equal to. There are going to be some heart and mouth moments. Crystal Palace do have those players for it, but hopefully we can come through it. Partey has been in full training. He probably could have played against Newcastle, but I don't want him rushed, as he said there. There's no point rushing him back. We tried to rush him back against Spurs, and it didn't help us, because not only did we lose, we had to take man off, and we lost him for a significant period of time. Even with Partey in our midfield, it's still questionable. Not through Partey, but he needs a man to be in there. Xhaka's changed the game off the bench against Newcastle and has had periods of good form since he signed here. The very fact that we're still, for everyone that rates Xhaka, there's people that are shaky. I think that tells you where we're at. So Bios, I'm sure he's a decent player, but if he, many people aren't going to cry if he goes back to, at the end of the season, to Real Madrid. Joe Willock is very young and raw and I think naive. So there's not really a levels partner. El Nene is capped, and you're seeing the true El Nene as well. So hopefully we can see Thomas Partey and Gabriel. I'm cautious, if they are fit, I am cautious not to bring them back in, because the team is playing well and fitness purposes and things. But for me, if both are fit, both go back into the team. I know it's harsh on some individuals, but football is a harsh game. I'm not going to go into talking about the restriction on celebrations and all of these things. Like, see what I'm saying? He's talked about Mesut Ozil and all of these things. He spoke about Rob Holding apparently signing a new contract. And again, this is the crucial bit for me, people, not Lucas Torreira. He's not relevant for this. He said, when asked about Palace, he said, as I said before, they don't need much. They have very specific players in positions that reinforces their way of playing. Roy always makes things difficult, and they lost some games, some undeserved, and some with a big margin, like against Liverpool. But for me, it's not a real consequence of what they are as a team. Listen, every game in the Premier League is tough. It will be tough against them when a team in that moment that they are in, because we weren't that far away a few weeks ago. I know that the spirit is in that dressing room and the willingness to put things right again. So we have to be there and be really, really ready to go and win that match again. And then asked about the top six, he said, I think the next 2 games are crucial to see the direction that we are taking and to reinforce all the things that we have improved on and results that we are having recently. We will know how much more, I think, after the next 2 games. So it's, 2 cup finals, not to sound cliche, but that's how the players should be reacting. Your season is on the line. Your manager is sitting there and saying, we can be a bit more confident. If you win the next 2 games, then something can happen, but you need to go out there and really win it. You need to do it all the time, sort of thing. He spoke about Wilfried Zaha. We know Zaha is a quality player and an exceptional one-on-one that can present issues. He paid homage to Roy Hodgson as well. I'm not going to read those out, but big up to Zaha and Roy Hodgson, regardless, people. Nonetheless. So I guess the last thing, that's for actual live stream, because I'm actually just recording this. The last thing is the lineup. Now, again, form plays a part. It is harsh to drop players. On one hand, football is harsh, and if your better players are fit, you play them. So I'm not too sure. I won't really have any complaints as to who starts, because again, everyone's been in good form. In hindsight, if we play this game and people move mad, then of course we'll revise it. But last 4 games, including the FA Cup, but there was rotations. I think everyone, bar nitpicking, everyone's done all right, or the usual suspects or players we realistically want to start this game have done all right. First name on the team sheet. It's not like there's any other levels keeper. So I'm going with Leno. Bellerin, for me, it's Maitland-Niles, but Bellerin don't deserve to lose his spot. Centre half is where I'm the most shaky, people. Do you go with David Luiz and Marie? On one hand, I think that should be the partnership, but on the other hand, I think it should be David Luiz and Gabriel. I think it should be Holding and Gabriel. I think it should be David Luiz and Holding. I don't think you can drop Marie. There is every reason to go to a back 3 potentially and go David Luiz, Marie, and Gabriel, or bring in Holding and go with Gabriel in the middle and pull David Luiz, or David Luiz in the middle and Gabriel on the right, and things like that. The way we've been playing, I think if it's not broke, don't fix it. We finally got some attacking sort of flair. People are playing in the right position. So it's a tough one. And for me, I don't have any qualms about really and truly who plays centre half at this moment in time, but I'm going to have to pick one. It's tough, man. It's tough. I'm personally going to go with, just because I think Holding's played more than Luiz and done more with what I've seen. But then again, I think it's a game for Luiz, So I think obviously fullback's quite simple. I think it's all depends, and at the same time, how fit is Gabriel? How rusty is he, having not been able to train? On one hand, like I said, he's back, you throw him in, but on the same hand, there is something to be said in keeping the squad the same when you've got a bit of form and things like that. Why I want to bring Gabriel is through, the one criticism I have of Marie is his lack of pace, and we're playing a very pacey team, and we play quite a high line, and they're quite good on the counter. I do back Marie, but could that be an issue that goes against him? Rob Holding, again, he's a bit more fit and agile, but he is quite naive. Do you know what? I'd probably go with David Luiz, to be fair with you, just because, again, maybe David Luiz comes out of the team and you play, because for me, he has to play against Newcastle if Andy Carroll's there. I was really impressed with how, we know David Luiz is a madman, to put it nicely, but I think he did well against the threat of Andy Carroll. And I know Benteke isn't going to, it's not that he's not similar to Andy Carroll, but he isn't something to write home about. I think David Luiz done well. So, and I need someone to lock down that striker. What do you think about David Benteke? He brings people in. He brings in the more technical players. So, I feel a bit dirty doing Holding and Marie and wrong, and I would actually, I feel most sorry for Marie personally, but I'm gonna go with David Luiz and Gabriel. Holding could probably nick it. I'll change my mind, but I have to pick it eventually. Midfield, it's, you know, if Partey's fit for me, he plays. You know, Partey's fit, he plays. But again, you Gabriel and Partey, how much are they lacking match fitness? Maybe just it could be smart just playing the one of those. But you know, he plays for me. Do you know what? Actually, you know, on one hand, I think it should be Ceballos. I could understand El Nene because that's been the partner Partey's been most exposed to. And, you know, when you go with who I'm going to go with, Smith Rowe in the 10, 2 Workman. Obviously, I'm not calling Partey that because he's got more to him, could do this thing for us. But I do think it will be Xhaka. I've gone with Xhaka, you know, in that 10 role. Again, Smith Rowe, my challenge to you, can you keep doing it? You did it against Chelsea, you did it against Brighton, you did it against West Brom. You know, you come off the bench very well against Newcastle. Can you do it for me again? You know, he's due a bad game. He's still a young man and naturally he's due a underperformance, but can you keep this up sort of thing? And then it's all complicated now through Martinelli. Again, I hope Martinelli's fit. And I think with the attacking players, there's now some good problems because Smith Rowe playing means you can't move Laka to the 10, you know. I think my starting lineup, you know, you can't drop Saka. He's doing his thing on the right hand side, and Lacazette, Saka, and Smith Rowe in particular, their link up play is helping us. You know, I don't think you can drop Lacazette right now. You know, he's playing well. He didn't score in the last game, and I'm not. I know he got an assist, but forget his assist. You know, it's the same way. I think one of the best games Lacazette's played this season has been Man United away from home. Because you know, when we talk about as Lacazette had a good or bad season, of course it may. I'm probably not going to remember it. We're not going to speak about that. But he pressed well, he defended well. And I think sometimes there's been games like that. And I feel, obviously, I don't want to really praise man for it because working hard, pressing, all of this is a given. Andy Carroll did it against us for Newcastle. Harry Kane does it, you know, but you have to be able to defend as a striker. But I think it's really underappreciated. Lacazette's pressing, Lacazette's winning the ball back. And what was it? In the game against Newcastle, the build up to Aubameyang's goal, who wins the ball back? It's Lacazette. It's these things that, you know, I only clocked it when I watched the game again. So I don't think you can drop Lacazette. Of course he's scoring, of course he's assisting, but you know it's everything for me. It's the pressing, it's the confidence he's playing with right now. He seems to be the experienced player that links up best with the Halen boys. You know, he's the right fit for our team. You've got to go with that. I don't want to see Willian starting. Again, I do think we could go with a start for Pepe, but I'm personally just going with man that are playing well at the moment in time. Aubameyang shifts out wide for me, obviously to accommodate Lacazette, and a bit of that is also because, again, their fullbacks will get forward if you give them opportunities, and at least with Aubameyang, that right back is going to have to think, yo, maybe I shouldn't. So that would be my lineup. A couple of points in the things that are troubling me, I think, you know, Marie, doing him a bit dirty. You know, we've got good problems with our centre halves. So I like what I'm seeing with our centre halves. You know, something just wants me to play Pepe. You know, I really hope Willian's not a part of it. I hope Martinelli can be involved on the bench. But again, even if Martinelli is cool, I'd personally just say, you know what, don't be involved in the match day car. Let's just let you rest in it because it was a bit of a nasty one. So the main one for me is the question marks over the centre halves, mainly the fitness on Gabriel and also obviously Partey's fitness. But I personally think Partey will be fit. I think he could have played against Newcastle, but it was a thing where let's learn our lesson from the last time. Let's play him when he's fully fit and ready to go. And I think he is. So that would be my lineup, people. I'd go with Smith Rowe. So again, you know, you've got Leno. You know, you've got Leno, Bellerin, David Luiz, Gabriel, Kieran Tierney, Thomas Partey, partners Granit Xhaka, Emil Smith-Rowe for me is in the 10 spot. You've got Saka on the right, Aubameyang on the left, Lacazette through the middle. Again, for me, Marie and Holding, if they don't play, count themselves unlucky. I think Xhaka should be the one, but I could understand if he was to go with Ceballos. I don't really think El Nene should play at the moment. I think he should just be above Joe Willock in the pecking order right now due to the last couple of games. I think Xhaka's played well. And again, like Smith Rowe, off the bench, Xhaka played quite well. Of course, I'm always going to have my concerns with Xhaka. Xhaka does have a lot of benefits, but I don't feel his benefits as a player outweigh his negatives and the sort of cons that come with Xhaka. I like what Xhaka brings to the table, but I just think what Xhaka or what we tell him to do in the team, we should be looking to upgrade on Xhaka. And, you know, Xhaka a squad player at best, but I understand why he's in the team. And for me, he's been playing quite well. I'm always going to look at Xhaka and Bellerin with caution. You know, I'm Maitland-Niles FC. I'm always ready for the propaganda, but I feel all these men deserve their places, and especially Bellerin. You know, the last couple it's not relevant because he didn't play in the FA Cup, but he's played very well in the last 3 games he's played. And, you know, if he played 3 poor games, we'd be having it. So all I ask for is that when you get an opportunity, you do your job. And regardless of what I might feel about these players, I call a spade, and I'll be fair. If I feel in whatever position you play, you've done everything that I believe you can, I'm not good. I don't think you should deserve to lose out. You know, that's why I feel it's just a tactical point of view for me with Marie. I think he's unfortunate, you know, with Gabriel. I think what tips is Gabriel's a bit quicker. He's a bit, you know, Marie's a bit calmer than him. Gabriel can be a bit rash, but, you know, Marie's lack of pace is the only thing that concerns me. And we're going against a pacey lineup. Bellerin, again, my choice, my goal to Bellerin is, yeah, you've played good in the last 3 games, but at home, excluding the Chelsea one, you know, you've played any other big game you've played, excluding these 3 games, apologies, not necessarily at home, you struggled. You know, anytime you've played against someone in the league that you describe as a 1v1 demon, or one of the attacking players that first comes to mind, you know, the Sons, the Grealishes, you know, Pedro Neto and them things there, you know, you've kind of failed that task. So my task to you, if it is going to be Zaha, if it is going to be Townsend or whoever is there, can you lock down that right-hand side again? That's my task. Tierney, can you keep it up? Gabriel, I know you've lost your fluidity, but there's all good players right now at centre-half right now. People are playing well. Don't lose your spot if you get this looking, sort of thing. Saka, Smith Rowe, can you keep doing the business? Aubameyang, can you get on the score sheet? Lacazette, keep doing everything you're doing. Partey, show us what we've been missing. Leno, again, against Newcastle, we won 2-0. Substitutes made the difference. You know, Leno won't really get his props for that save, but can you keep doing things like that? And again, we're going to need to be at our best to beat Crystal Palace. And again, we're going to need to be at our best to try and get 2 wins and turn this 3 wins in the league into 5. So on that note, I haven't got anything more to add, people. I've enjoyed the 40-odd minutes being here and speaking with you lot and previewing the game. I'd love to hear you lot's thoughts in relation to the game. I'd love to hear, obviously, you lot's lineups and your thoughts about playing Crystal Palace, who should play, who shouldn't. So please make sure you do that. Obviously, if you're new here, make sure you've hit the like button. Make sure you've hit the subscribe button. You know, check out the YouTube memberships, of course, and I'll be back again soon. I know I do a lot of normal content, normal videos, but I do live streams, so make sure you're paying attention, because I know YouTube doesn't like to notify subscribers. So make sure you're always typing in Deluded Gooner on YouTube and sporadically seeing if there's, you know, stuff going on. But yeah, man, you know, in relation to the preview, that's all I have to say in relation to Arsenal versus Crystal Palace. Hopefully we can get 3 points, but for now, it's always a pleasure. DG, I'm out.